Well, hello and welcome all you wonderful people out there in YouTube land to Texas Special YouTube channel. Last month I covered garage prep. This month, as you can see, I got tables up, I got track down. I've been tweaking the track plan and figuring out what I want to do and how I want it to look, and for now I've found how it's going to be laid out. This is the full 8 by 16 foot O-gauge table that myself and Jim built. Jim Moe of the Texas Model Railroad Club and fellow railroad employee. Right inside this 036 loop, there's going to be a small town scene. I'm actually going to extend this 036 loop out to where it runs just outside of that loop of N-scale track. Between that loop of track and that loop of 042, which is this middle main right here, as time and money allows, this tubular track will eventually be replaced with fast track. That way I can cut in some crossovers, and eventually I'd like to add a siding to that inner track so I can run my passenger trains in to the depot or cross over to another track or what have you. Whatever operational flexibility I want, I should be able to have it. As the track is screwed down with wood screws in select locations just to keep it from moving around too much while it's in this, temporary phase. My goal for this month is to have, at a minimum, have the sub-road bed, the foam down. Once that's done, then I can start ordering track and wire and things and such of that nature. I can start working my way towards the permanent track plan, which will feature crossover here between main 1 and 2, crossover here between main 2 and 3, well, at least a crossover between main 1 and 2, and possibly a crossover between a sidings crossover there and on the other end over here between mains 2 and 3. I may keep the inner loop 036, I may make it 048 or 060. Eventually this second main track here, this middle loop, is going to be upgraded to 060. That's going to be a park scene right there. Some of my old N-scale trains and an old loop of N-scale Bachmann Easy track from my model railroad that I had that I had built when I was living in the barracks during my time in the Army. And then as we come around, another thing I added here, shelves. These shelves were stacked. 2 shelves made one roughly 6 foot tall shelf. I broke them in half. Well, not literally broke them, but split them apart, and there's my shelves for model train storage, keep everything up off the floor and off the railroad, ideally. These are old IKEA type cubbyhole shelves that came out of my son's room. My wife wanted to get him some different style or whatever, so I jacked them for my purposes, which storing model trains and model train supplies. More shelving down here, sorry about the lighting, and even more shelving here. This is where the HO Railroad is at currently. You've got the sub-road bed down, got switches, this switch, and this switch here is cut in and powered now. The track is spiked down, but it's not glued down. Planning on doing like a combination little small town museum, railroad museum / working passenger depot that'll see Amtrak service or Hogwarts Express service for the moment. This industrial lead here, that track that goes off right there straight off, that's going to be Walther's grocery distributor. I would like to put the Walther's Interstate Fuel and Oil company somewhere back there where the track curves off to the left. And then of course, obviously, well, this one is not hard to figure out, the Walther's Glacier Gravel Company. And the little gravel dump accessory from the Lifelike Rail Blaster set, which is the set that came from, and about half the cars sitting on the track back there came from. This track where the Hogwarts Express is standing, that is eventually going to be a siding track. That'll be the siding / storage track. And it will fit one diesel locomotive and about 10 freight cars plus a caboose. So minus the locomotive and the caboose, I could probably fit a good dozen cars in there. This track here is actually the main. It will loop around inward and curve in and come back out. So it'll do like this right here roughly. Onto this second table. I may or may not put an industry on here, but the primary goal for this table is to be majority rural, countryside, woods, things of such of that nature. But the main line is going to loop around, come back around to that back side of the table, where it will rejoin with the original table right there. Jim is helping me out with a bridge piece to fit between these two. It won't be a freestanding table, it'll be bolted to the benchwork on either ends, but we have it'll be made the way it is to clear the attic access in the garage. Otherwise, this would be just a straight 4x16 foot table. That's where we sit. Oh, more news, more big news. This is no longer the HO and O scale layout. This is the South Texas Railroad. Planning on doing scenery reminiscent to my home area of South Texas. This is the East Texas Railroad. This will be set loosely modern day East Texas. For the time being, this HO Railroad, the East Texas Railroad, will be DC. At some point, I might possibly upgrade it to DCC. I do plan on buying DCC locomotives and upgrading any additional locomotives that I procure for this railroad, upgrading them with a DCC decoder so I can run them at the club, because our club layout is DCC. But as far as for operating purposes on this railroad here, for the time being, DC is king. But that's where we sit. I thank y'all for watching. And bear with me. I've got a lot of the floor layout footage still yet to burn through before I can get to any footage of trains running on this bad boy. I will throw y'all a teaser as it sits right now, at some point this month, as it sits now. So y'all have a good one. Thank you for watching. Texas Special out.